Yo, what's going on, guys? And happy Sunday. It's gonna be a good day, and let's just have some fun, man. Look, Canelo's a funny guy, man, and maybe he's one of the last of a dying breed. Maybe Noah Inui's like him as well, possibly. What I mean by that is, if they really wanted to spin the block, so to speak, if they really wanted to control the narrative and be out there like these modern fighters that use social media, like Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson, and then just talk a lot of nonsense, Canelo could do that. But that's one of the things that I admire and respect Canelo so much, is that he doesn't do that. But sometimes there's moments where he does engage, in the world of social media, and he's just, he's going to cause a spark and some controversy, right? So for those that know, the majority of you guys might know, or maybe don't really care, right? He went on a Mexican TV channel or Latino TV channel, and everyone was thinking that he was going to reveal something important in terms of his career, like his next opponent, right? And there was little clues that was being sent out, and guys like Michael Benson and Jamal Charlo and company that were saying, "Oh, it's gonna be an American," and things of this nature. And Canelo was playing to that. He was pandering to that, right? Like that mystique, that aura that everybody wants. It reminds me a lot like Mayweather, when we wanted him to fight guys like Keith Thurman, when we wanted him to fight guys like Kell Brook or Unifier Pacquiao. He chose the Robert Guerrero, the Victor Ortizes, the Andre Bertos of the world, right? And plenty of others. Canelo's kind of doing the same thing too. That's how you know he's still the face of boxing, because a lot of people are more interested in his opponent selection and who he's fighting next rather than the fights that are taking place. It's hilarious. But anyway, the big news was he signed a 1-year deal, right, with, again, a Mexican channel called Azteca TV, TV Azteca, and basically said to the Mexican fan base, "You guys are going to continue to see my fights for free." That was the big news, right? And it is big news. But it's not something that maybe Azteca TV or Univision couldn't just do with like an email, right? And just announce it via like a social media post, right? No, they went out of their way and held this presentation, and they had this presentation and they sit down and they stitched up a nice, members only jacket for Canelo. And Canelo pandered and played to that crowd. It was funny. Maybe we were hoping he was going to be like, yeah, I'm going to be fighting Jaime Munguia, David Benavidez, Jamar Charlo, Bud Crawford. Hell, I don't care, the Canadian Eric Bazinian, the Frenchman and Billy. But no, that was the big news. Mexican fans, we're going to continue making deals for free so you guys can continue to watch me and support me. And at a certain time, I felt a little jealous, man. Because me being American, I was like, damn, I want to see those fights for free, right? But like always, the melting pot of America, we have to suffer and we have to pay the pay-per-views, man. But nevertheless, it was still very entertaining to see Canelo engage in that sensationalism part of social media where people are like, want to be first in terms of reporting the news. It was fun. And I'm glad that he's enjoying himself, because whether he would lose to David Benavidez, whether he would lose to Bud Crawford, I don't know, Rocky Fielding, he's already a legend. He's already a Hall of Famer. So it doesn't really matter what he does next in his point of career. If he wants to have exhibitions with Conor McGregor, I'm just going to appreciate all the good years that he gave us. He's got a lot of good fights that have a lot of replay value and a lot of things, tricks and trades that you can teach young boxers, young amateurs, or even yourselves if you were to fight and spar certain types of styles, right? Whether it's body punches, targeting low, changing your line of sights and targeting. He was very creative and he fought a very diverse. Vince Vargas, afternoon to you, brother. Yes, sir. At work now, chilling on lunch. Man, similar. I got a couple hours left. Decided to go live for a little bit and just wrap it up. the Mexican G. Salute to you, brother. What's cracking, homie? Nothing much, man. Nothing much. A little bit of same old, same old. Got to see some tough sparring the other day. Very physical, very tough. Eye-opening to see the progression that they've made. My nephew and stuff. It was very entertaining, very brutal to watch, but mistakes were made and some really good moments as well. Just got to tune up and piece things together and, start picturing and putting the puzzle all together like you want it to be, right? Got a couple of amateur fights coming up soon in the next Saturday, so it's going to be really interesting to see how everything unfolds. But yeah, man, aside from that, a little bit of same old, a little bit of rain, trying to not get sick, drink my teas, right? Put in some vitamin C, little things of that nature. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys are doing well. Happy Sunday to all of you guys. And like always, let's have a good time. But yeah, it was really refreshing and very fun to see Canelo. Me and my dad were tuned in on the computer and we were watching to see if Canelo would announce his next opponent, which he didn't, but he did say that it would happen in a week or so. And before we kind of dive into who he might be fighting next, because it doesn't really matter. I'm a patient person. I'm not really one to speculate too much. But going back to that connection that boxers have with social media and they connect to the fans and things of that nature. So one of the things that I like about Canelo is that he doesn't really give too much interviews and he's just working, right? Casually working. He did state that I think he had 4 or 5 more years left in him. And, we can assume that he's going to be fighting twice a year. So maybe he's got 10 fights left, which is actually a lot, right? Because he's achieved a lot of great things. He's fought a lot of really good fighters. And it makes me wonder, why do guys like Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, when they win and become, I don't know, Ring Lino magazine or a WBC champ, why do they think that it's okay to announce your retirement in your moment after a victory? See, I think Teo and Shakur thought that the fans were going to cry for him and beg them to come back. No, don't retire, Teo. Boxing needs you. How are you going to be or establish a takeover if after beating Josh Taylor, you're going to retire? See, these Americans, right, use social media the wrong way. They think, and a lot of people have this notion as well that any publicity is good publicity. It's like, no, dude, you can tarnish your reputation. You really can. And when you announce your retirement after a good performance or a mediocre performance in the case of Shakur, like, it's not okay to announce your retirement, right? If there's something wrong with you, everything's going wrong with you. People, your opponent, your adversary, they have problems too, right? So when Shakur says in an interview with Fight Hype, oh, I was a little injured, right? Then fight Edwin de los Santos again with non-injuries, right? He states that nobody wants to fight him, and he finds it weird that nobody wants the WBC, and he goes on to state that all roads to Undisputed lead through him because he's the WBC champion. And some of these things are true, but I'm pretty sure Edwin de los Santos would like to run it back with you because neither of you two fought like a champion. Neither of you two deserve to be a champion. And I don't know why, if I'm the WBC, I would want to associate myself with either of those two fighters based off that performance. That's not a championship-worthy like performance for my vacated belt. If I'm Mauricio Suleiman in the WBC, I'm going to just be like, you know what? I'm going to give it a no contest, a no ruling, because that's going to hurt the sport and the brand of boxing, right? And Shakur would go announce his retirement after the Edwin de los Santos performance, in which he landed 19 more punches to score the victory over Edwin de los Santos. 19. That's a very thin margin of error. That's not even a disparity to be like, oh, I'm a champion because I dominated you. 19 punches more in a 12-round fight means basically you landed 1.3 punches more than your opponent. That's not dominance. So, like, when they asked Tank Davis, would you like to run it back with Pitbull Cruz? What did he say? Hell nah. I'm pretty sure Shakur has that same sentiment if they were to ask him, why don't you run it back with Edwin de los Santos? If nobody wants to fight you, I'm sure Edwin would like to run it back. To be fair, nobody wants to watch that, but you didn't show, or that you quote unquote finessed Edwin de los Santos. How did you finesse Edwin de los Santos? You didn't finesse nobody. You see? So these words that Shakur uses, they're just extremely flawed. And it's not correct. You didn't finesse Edwin de los Santos, right? Sometimes, man, warm coffee hits up in the morning, man. But yeah, it's a little ridiculous, man. But whatever the case may be, you know, obviously Shakur is penciled to have a fight relatively soon. Nobody believed him or Teofimo Lopez that they were going to retire. And here we go again. Who are they going to fight next? And there's a lot of great opposition. Maybe he'll wait after Navarrete fights for that vacated WBO 135 strap. But even then, Keyshawn Davis wants possibly that fight next. And it's going to be very interesting. I'm a little perplexed with Emmanuel Navarrete because I wish that he would just continue to fight at 130. It almost seems like he's a sacrificial lamb, or that Top Rank wants to get Navarrete beat. Here's a guy, Navarrete, that doesn't complain, that after tough fights, he doesn't say that he was injured or makes excuses. He doesn't even say that he's going to announce a retirement. And here's a guy that's a 3-time divisional champion, gives you hellacious fights, and on many people's list, they don't even give him a pound-for-pound title or respect. But they hold that same sentiment and acknowledge Shakur as a pound-for-pound fighter. His skills definitely weren't pound for pound. Now, I'm not saying Shakur isn't tricky or that he doesn't have talent, but I'm just saying if you're going based on your last performance, he sure didn't give you that, right? And everything in boxing is, what have you done for me lately? And lately, and you know, Shakur showed that he will throw one more punch per round and land 19 over your opponent, and that would be enough for him to win. And he would run. I don't know about you, but Navarrete would never do that. He would never do that. Anyway, the Mexican G goes, Canelo said he was fighting an American. Yeah, fighting an American. Yo, the Mexican G, man, would you say that David Benavidez is an American? Would you think, or do you acknowledge and accept, you know, because you're the Mexican gatekeeper on this channel? And would you say that you, alongside Ultra Instinct and Miss Bitch and all these other YouTubers that come in, would you say that David Benavidez is a Mexican? Do you accept David Benavidez as a Mexican? And if so, why? Joe's the man. Canelo era mexicano. Atentos. Canelo era. Mexicans atentos. I think Canelo era Mexicanos atentos. Yeah, man. I mean, there's just some fancy words there, but I don't really know what that means. Other than like, attention, Canelo. This is a Canelo era. Drew 123 goes in the lobby. Wasabi. Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. Let me get you back in. My check really quick, brother. How you been?
Yo, man, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? How's your Sunday going?
Good, man. I'm a little hungover, but everything's all
Oh
good, man.
shit. Okay,
Uh,
what'd you go drink, bro? What you drinking?
I went out, man. With my boy Ralph Lauren.
Ah,
but
nice,
um,
nice, nice,
but
nice.
yeah. Now yeah, we went out. Where we go? We went to this spot called Alvarado, and
Okay.
they got some good beer.
Which one though? The one in Salinas or the one in Monterey?
The one in Monterey, or no, my bad. The one downtown, my bad.
You trying to get all fancy and you get on me, bro. Come on,
Well,
dude.
because there's one on Monterey Street.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, but it was cool. I drank some white wine too, and it was kind of a trip. Like it gave it's a different drunk that I felt, but it was cool. It was fun. I didn't overdo it, but yeah, man. It was a chill ass day. I was gonna hit you up, man, but Mike was like trying to, drink it up, but yeah, man,
Yeah.
we gotta go play pool sometime, man.
Yeah, man. I was trying to over on Friday, I think Friday night, right? That's when you called me. But yeah, dude, I was changing the control arm. It took like 4 hours, give or take. I think we stopped like before 10 or before 9. I don't really remember. But yeah, it was just more of just tuning up some things. I ordered a part from Amazon, and just the maintenance and mechanical work took a little longer than expected. My torres, which are the things that are holding up the El Camino right now, I didn't have
Mm.
any spare, so I had to really like use like wood trumps just to maintain after using the jack stand and the jack to anyway, long story short, it took a little longer than expected, man. And then
Hmm.
we removed the control arm, which was not that hard, but then it was a little bit of a tight squeeze to put it back in and
Yeah.
just get it all aligned correctly. So it was took a little longer than expected. And we were
Do you
so
need help
close,
today?
and then we took it all apart and then we put it back in because it just wasn't fitting. It took 3 people, bro. Me, my dad, and
Damn.
my mother. So I was like, shit. And
Yeah.
I was gonna do it the next day on Saturday, but my brother didn't want to leave his classic car outside, the street side,
In the
because
weather.
uh, like he didn't want to leave the Wildcat on the side of the road. He wanted to
Oh.
have it right there in the car lot. But
Mm.
anyway, man, so it took a little longer than expected. And by the time I finished, I didn't even get to watch the Oshaki Foster fight. And
Damn.
I was exhausted, man. Just like not so much because it was labor intensive, but it just like the
Mm.
exhaust and like the mental. And you just a beer would have been sufficient, but then I gotta like shower and take all the oil off my hands and the uñas, and I wasn't trying to look all bummy. And you know how like you get oil in your hands and water and oil,
Yeah.
you get like that little I don't know rubbery elastic feel. I was just
Yeah.
like, nah, anymore, bro. I can't do nothing today.
I'll just pull up with a beer next time.
Yeah, man, that would have been nice.
I'll
But
just
yeah,
do
dude,
that
that,
then.
that was pretty much it. I missed almost all of the fights, and all the
Mm.
bets too. We talked about, in the Niner video, how Mauricio Lara was gonna have a tough fight with that guy Nunez. I think that's the guy that he fought.
Yeah.
And what I did see, I thought Mauricio Lara was losing. I thought he was going to lose because I was in and out the house, just running through, just trying to see. And I thought he lost, but I think they gave it a draw.
Okay.
Nevertheless, I was just saying the Oshaki Foster with Abraham Nova. I thought, again, I didn't see the whole fight, but what I saw, like the first 5 rounds or so, Abraham Nova did really good.
Yeah.
What do you think on that fight? Did you watch all of it in its entirety?
Yeah, I kind of was more I was paying more attention to that fight. Like I missed like probably like 2 or 3 rounds, but I watched the majority of the fight and like towards like six. Yeah, in the sixth round, that's when I watched like the rest of the fight. But yeah, man, Nova was doing what I thought he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna give him a hard time with that length that he got,
Yeah,
and you could tell no Shockey was like kind of, he wasn't shocked, but like he was like damn, like he was having a hard time like getting in, getting inside and shit. But he managed to edge him out, and I think no Abraham Nova says something like he was kind of blaming the ground to being wet and all that, and if it weren't for that, it would have been a draw. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think Oshaki did what he needed to do, even if it wasn't for that slip up, supposedly, they actually counted it as a knockdown. But um, yeah, no, I think Shockey had it even without that knockdown. So
okay.
yeah, I think he won. He won. The majority of the scuffles that they got in. Because sometimes they would actually get fight inside the box, and Oshaki would actually get the best of him. But when Nova was on that bike, he was actually doing pretty good. Yeah, but
Yeah,
Oshaki knows how to cut the ring. But it was good, entertaining fight to watch. Nova's you can tell he's been in there with some highly skilled guys,
yeah,
and if it wasn't people like Robeisy Ramirez obviously took advantage with cutting off the ring, and he did really well with that. But Oshaki couldn't do it at the level that fucking Robeisy Ramirez did it at. And yeah, no, he actually did his thing, Oshaki. Um, but yeah, congrats to him, man. He's a man, and I think pretty much he belongs. You know, he wasn't just that last minute replacement, or was he a last minute replacement for Ray Vargas? I don't think so. Um, but I think a lot of people like overlooked him because you know, they didn't expect him to beat Ray Vargas, and for him to not only beat Ray Vargas but defend his belt after that. I think, you know, it says a lot. I think it says that he belongs in with the elites, you know, and yeah, no, he deserves bigger fights. I think him and Navarrete would be a great fight. I think he would give Navarrete a hard time. Um, but yeah, man, I think Navarrete would probably knock him out, you know, but that's what makes a good fight right there, you know, him
Yeah, no,
versus
I
Navarrete.
feel it, man. I'm gonna ask you a question. So Navarrete is supposedly to go up to 135, right? And he's supposed to fight for the vacated 135 WBO belt. And would you rather see him go up to 135, or would you rather see him unify with Oshaki Foster?
I want to see him unify with Oshaki Foster, man. I think he's bound to lose to a lesser opponent at 135 just
Yeah.
because of the power. You know, the difference in power from 130 to 135 is a lot, bro. And I think I just don't think it's a good move for him. I think I think he can possibly lose to this guy at 135, you know, cuz he's going to fight for that belt, right? At 135?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a date has been announced yet,
Mm,
but they're rumored, And
right.
then once the rumor came out, that's when Shakur was like, "Man, this boxing thing is BS. I'm gonna retire," and all of these things. Like he doesn't, as smart as these guys are. Like I
Mm,
said, it's like you guys are very impatient. Do you guys
mm,
want to build a career and meaningful fights? If so, it behooves Shakur to let Emmanuel Navarrete become a 135 champion so he can unify with Navarrete and beat a credible opponent, right? But no,
yeah.
this dude, I just
Bro,
sometimes despise these young kids, bro. Like it's just like because they don't act like men, and these are
right.
young men. But in order to be treated like one, or you like you gotta. It's frustrating. But
Yeah,
anyway,
nuts.
they go on
Yeah,
social
yeah.
media and vent, like I don't even want to say like women do, but
Hmm.
basically, you feel me? Because I've seen some chicks that are fucking tougher than these dudes that suck it up, and they're not gonna vent in social media when they could, because who else is gonna hear them? But then these boxers, bro, it's like, damn, Shakur. Like I know your dad wasn't involved in the picture, and I'm not trying to bring that up, but I'm like, nah, bro, like shut your ass up and work.
Hmm.
Um, but big picture things you can unify and maybe beat Navarrete, and people will give you a lot of more credibility than just what you did against Edwin de los Santos. But it's neither here nor there, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not whatever's, bro.
Yeah.
But like for example, if this is Shakur's last fight and Emmanuel Navarrete does become a 35 WBO champion, and if you're saying you're basically saying you're gonna part ways with Top Rank. Why do you think Top Rank is gonna then give you Emmanuel Navarrete when you didn't re-sign with them? Because supposedly there was a rumor that announced that for the neck they were gonna give him like 5 fights or 3 fights for 15 million, and then Shakur said no. Right?
Mm,
Supposedly this was the rumor. If
right.
that's the case, why do you think Top Rank would then give you a free agent, Emmanuel Navarrete? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's
Y-
very frustrating to see certain things like that. And same thing with Teofimo Lopez. It's like, bro, you're burning bridges with Eddie Hearn in the zone, knowing that they have Subriel Matias now, Ryan Garcia, and then they have Devin Haney. Top Rank pretty much lost all those 140 pounders over to Oscar De La Hoya, who have Arnold Barboza and Jose Ramirez. And
mm,
then Teofimo wants to burn bridges and slander these companies. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. That's why they're running out of money. X, Y, and Z. They're corrupt. All the things of this nature. It's like,
and
bro, you're
yes,
burning all these things. Like, where are you gonna go from here, Teofimo?
and
To
that was as of recently, huh? He said all that.
and that's yeah, bro. This stuff is recently, and it's like
God,
you guys think about and talk about takeover and how you guys are the new biggest thing in the block, but I don't know, bro.
bro,
It's
bro,
really
it's frustrating. I'm like, I was
no,
speaking highly of To, like, as far as like, him as a person and all this, and he just, comes out with, comes up with other shit to say. But um yeah, man, he needs to do better, man. I get it, that it's frustrating, but I think it's so important for these guys to be good businessmen outside of the ring too.
Yeah.
Because if you're a good businessman, or you know how to make money outside of the ring, you're such an asset to everyone around you, because you're not fully dependent on, your promoter and, and your coach and all this. Like, if you get your shit straight outside of the ring, man, it just benefits everything else outside of that, and yeah, it's important, bro. Imagine making good money and just being able to take these lower paying fights, confidently knowing that you're gonna win. Like that could be Shakur, man. Just keep fighting these so-called whatever bums. Just be active, man. Like, why the hell you're just you just gotta wait your opportunity. You're not Canelo yet. You're not Devin yet. You gotta earn your stripes, man. And
Yep.
you gotta be able to, you gotta earn the right to be able to say that kind of stuff. As far as like your retirement and all this, it's like, man, like, stop trying to like treat us like we're slaves, and you're gonna starve us, if you don't fight. Like we're okay with you not fighting, like there's people that that we want to watch anyways. We want to watch the guys that actually want to fight. Like I hate that, you know like make trying to make us suffer or some shit, man. Like, that shit ain't cool, man. Just,
Yeah. You got to look
yeah.
at it like this also. Do you guys want a career or do you guys want instant gratification? Because it took Canelo. When people really started to pay attention to Canelo was maybe the Shane Mosley fight, right? That's when, I think that's when he started becoming on the Floyd Mayweather undercard and things of the nature. Because a lot of people weren't paying attention to the fight with Matthew Hatton and Baldomir and, you know, when he fought Cotto's brother, right? They weren't really paying attention to them or Ponchito Gomez. People were in tune, but they really got the attention when he fought Shane Mosley and above. From that point on, bro, it probably took Canelo, I don't know, 10, 14 years after that fact. I mean, to really be a household name. This dude has like, how many fights does he have, bro? Like 70 fights?
Who?
Canelo Alvarez,
Oh,
Canelo.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
where does
Like,
Kurt think and Teofimo that you're going to get the same recognition, respect, or hatred or pull of a Canelo Alvarez with less than 20? I think they barely cracked 20 respectively.
yeah.
Canelo has 3 times those amount of fights. And
Hmm.
he's like damn near you guys the same age.
Like,
Maybe
he's
4
lapping them.
years older.
Yeah, he's lapped them already.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And it's like it's a little frustrating seeing these young cats not really understand that thing. But going back to Emmanuel Navarrete, bro, before
Yeah.
we go ahead and talk about Canelo. Emmanuel Navarrete, I don't know when he last fought, but he fought Conceição, no?
Yeah. Yep.
That was his last fight, and it was a draw. I think it was a draw, or maybe a split
Man, I forget
decision.
about that sometimes, man.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was a draw or a split decision for Emmanuel Navarrete, and that was at 130.
Mm.
Do you think Emmanuel Navarrete is playing the pound for pound game? Because I think he started at 122. He was a champion at 122, 126, and now at 130. So 135 will be his fourth weight class to be a four-time divisional champ. And like we
Mm.
talked about, he should stay at 130 to unify against Oshaki Foster. He should maybe fight Joe Cordina. I think over the weekend or on Thursday or possibly Wednesday, Rakimov, who fought Jojo Diaz, Rakimov, who also fought Eduardo Vasquez and Joe Cordina, very entertaining fights. He just recently got beat by a Mexican who was like 26-1 with 25 KOs. Did you watch that fight?
Repeat that. Which fight again?
Did you watch the Rakimov fight? I'm trying to find out what
Oh,
the
Rakhimov. Part of it, not all of it. I was in and out, but yeah, Rakhimov was. Is that's the heavyweight, right?
no. He's like a Russian or and whatchamacallit, he's like a Russian.
Nah,
He's a Russian, like I don't know, what one of them
nah, I
like
don't think.
Eastern European fighters.
Oh, nah, I never. Nah, didn't see him fight, bro. But was that last night? I mean, my bad, on Friday.
I think so, bro.
Mm, mm,
Friday or Thursday, and I could be wrong. It might have been Rocky Mob or something. It could have been another different
okay.
fighter. So I
Yeah.
got confused. But the guy was 26 in one loss, and he had like an 89% knockout ratio. Did anybody watch that fight? Or am I tripping? Maybe I'm confusing the names.
Yeah, maybe. I'll look at
It was
it
a
right
really
now.
good
Let me
fight.
see.
Let me see.
Let's see. But yeah, man. I was looking at this post, bro. And I think I sent you it. And
Like, send me it recently.
yeah.
But anyway, he knocked him out in the 11th round, and it looked to be pretty good. There was basically I'm just because I was working on this car, I missed out on potential money earned, man.
Damn,
I'm beating
son.
myself a little bit. I'm just like fudge, dude. It was right
Yeah.
there, you know. But yeah, no, man, it was very busy, very busy couple of days, man.
Yeah. No,
Junto
I could tell, man.
Nakatani, bro.
Junto Nakatani. That's the dude that knocked out Maloney, right?
Yeah.
Cold. Great. He's a great fighter, man. Then obviously the second best Japanese fighter behind Inoue, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, they're putting Japan on the map, bro. Um, but bro, I was gonna tell you about this
He's
post.
fighting my cuñado, bro.
What?
Yeah, dude, he's fighting Alejandro Santiago, bro.
Who is that?
Wow, bro. Don't say
Oh,
that.
your cuñado? I thought you meant like in
Yeah,
real life.
bro.
I
Alejandro
thought you meant real life.
Santiago. That Junto Nakatani's fighting him, bro. This Saturday, the
He's
24th.
really your cuñado?
Come on, bro.
Shut
Don't,
the
don't play
hell
with
up.
me right now, bro. Don't play with me right now.
Oh man, that's
Nah,
funny.
man. He's fighting him on a Saturday, man. And it's going to be a
Okay.
really good fight, bro. Really good fight. I was
On
watching
what card?
the Andrew Maloney and Junto Nakatani fight, bro. And I think Alejandro Santiago has a really good chance. It's going to be unification for the WBC, you know, after he beat Nonito Donaire and Junto Nakatani after, I don't know. I think he had a fight after the knockout of Andrew Maloney, bro. He probably fought like Donnie Nietes or something like Agri Cortez. Someone
Alejandro what?
Alejandro Santiago. He's like this Mexican
Oh,
guy that dyes his hair
yep.
like
I
gray.
remember. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
I think he's gonna come out after going into the Lions Den in Japan and beat him, bro.
Really?
I think he's gonna beat him, bro. Because to be honest with you, it goes like this. Alejandro Santiago has lost 3 times, and he has like 2 draws. Okay, something like that. 2 of those 3 losses, they were like within his first 10 fights. So they're like 4 rounders and 6 rounders respectively. But one of his fights was against Gary Antonio Russell. And it could have gone either way. You could almost say that it was a draw, but I thought Santiago beat him. But you know, Gary Russell and the family, they have a little bit of pull and they have more of a name. So they were going to favor them a little bit. But I thought Santiago won. Close fight. You know, it's one of those things where it's close, you know. But
Yeah,
nevertheless,
no.
you almost make an argument that Alejandro Santiago is undefeated. Pretty much. You can make that argument,
I'm
right?
trying to find him on BoxRec. What's his common opponents with?
Alejandro
For like,
Santiago?
yeah.
Just type in Nonito Donaire.
Okay.
I think
All
that
right.
was his last fight. And then you'll know, like, oh, that's him.
Oh yeah, he upset him, right?
Yeah.
His last fight. Yeah, I remember that.
It was a close fight, but Nonito was favored to win, and, you know, Alejandro beat him.
Yeah, unanimously. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
From
And the
TJ.
only problem is, like, you know, Junto Nakatani is going to have, you know, the height and the arm length. So it's going to
Mm,
trouble Alejandro, but he's very
mm.
crafty, bro. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say that he's up there with Roman Chocolatito, even though they're like the same height, but they fight really similar and also like the punch selection as well. And he's got very tight defense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be a good fight, bro. In fact, like they're gonna probably these fights are gonna start really early.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly too sure how early here. Like if it's Saturday, Friday, we might be watching it like at midnight. But then there's
Yeah.
also Jerwin Ancajas. I think he's a Filipino, and he's gonna be fighting a Japanese fighter, Takuma Inoue. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If you were to do like a little parlay of $5 and you put Alejandro Santiago decision, Jerwin Ancajas, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
later on in the zone, Pat Gray McCrory to upset Berlango, $5 you get 1,500 in return, bro.
You think Berlanga's gonna lose?
No, I don't think so. I think Berlanga gets a lot of hate. I think he's a really good fighter. Obviously, he's still learning, and you see his limitations, but that's part of the learning process.
Hmm.
He's not a finished product, but nevertheless, he's fighting an undefeated fighter. We know Edgar isn't all that great, and we know that he's got flaws, but I don't know if that guy McGrory is one to really exploit them. But
Yeah.
that's why I think Edgar will still win. And then he did a really wise thing, and he teamed up with Memo Heredia. And I'm not
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Any fighter that goes out of their way and hires Memo and hires an Alex Ariza, you're crossing out your X's and O's. And they're not
Yeah.
just if you're already a big puncher, you're gonna be even a deadlier puncher because these guys they know the tricks. They know
Hmm.
how to condition your body, right? These are doctors in sports medicine. Like they know how to manipulate, nutrition and exercises to really be explosive. Bro, David knocked out Andrade in 4 rounds. Was it 4 rounds?
Yeah, it's like I think around like 5 or 6,
Yeah,
if I'm
if
not wrong.
David doesn't hire Memo Heredia, he ain't knocking him out in 4 or 5 rounds, bro. Now he's still
Mm.
beating Andrade, but because he got Memo, bro, you're gonna be able to make weight properly and then rehydrate probably like 190 and be super strong. And that's where I think Edgar's gonna benefit a lot from, you
Hmm.
know? And yeah, no. So because of that, I don't think that guy McCrory is gonna pull the upset. Again, you can never count out an undefeated fighter, but you know,
Yeah, he's 18-0 with only 9 knockouts. So I mean his nickname is the Hammer, but I think he got more of a mullet. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, he's I mean he looks good. He's number 26 in the world. Um, yeah, he doesn't look like he has too much power, bro. So he is knocking out, undefeated guys, but I think it's more like trying to build up his name or some shit. I'm looking at his resume right now, that's why.
who
Um,
the Patty
but
McCrory kid?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So he does have a bunch of 10 rounders. He's never been over 10 rounds.
yeah,
So because all of his fights, he did have a 12 rounder, but he knocked him out in 6.
yeah.
But against lesser opponents type of thing. But yeah, no, Edgar Belonga should get the KO.
I think
Um,
so too. I think
yeah,
so
he
too.
should get the
I
KO.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and then
think
also another upset that's really interesting that could happen. And just maybe
mhm,
Pablo Cesar Cano is a little he's 35, 30, 34 to 36 years old. Pablo Cesar Cano, he's a guy kind of like Humberto Soto that they're really good fighters and they can pull upsets, but they're not really gonna get the friendly decisions because they're tough veterans, kind of like the Gabe Rosados of the world. But Pablo Cesar Cano, he's fighting Shakram Giyasov. And Giyasov hasn't really fought nobody, right? But he's good and he's strong. His last fight, he fought some dude with like 36 wins from Chicago, right? And that guy that's like
27.
30, 27, yeah, something like that. He ain't really beat nobody.
Hmm.
So Pablo Cesar Cano, if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy that knocked down Linares 4 times in the first round, bro.
Wow.
I think I could be wrong. I don't know. My memory serves me wrong in certain moments, but like in terms of name confusion, but
Hmm.
that could be a viable option. Like he might get the KO. Again, Pablo has been through a lot. He's been through a lot of tough fights. But
Yeah, he's been in the game since '06, man.
yeah, man, that's a lot of time. That's almost 20
Yeah.
years. And he's tough,
Yeah,
bro. He's tough. And but yeah, that might be a really interesting fight in case Giyasov,
yeah, bro, you're right.
doesn't really pan out to be. These guys from Uzbekistan, they're really good.
Hmm.
Same
Hey, bro,
thing
you're
like
right.
MJ Akhmadaliev. These are really good fighters. But does Pablo Cesar Cano have another upset like Marlon Tapales and beats Giyasov from Uzbekistan? It could happen. It's a tough
Hmm.
task. It'll be difficult, but yeah, man, I'll be rooting for. I'm telling you, bro, like a little simple parlay. $2, bro. You go Pablo Cesar Cano, you go Jerwin Anjajas, and you were to go Alejandro Santiago, bro.
Big money.
$3 gives you $398. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad, dude. I mean, some shit like that might be, you're going up against underdogs only, but these are guys that they're live dogs. They have
Yeah.
good technique, they have good power, they have good boxing, but you got to
Yeah.
land that punch.
You were right about the Linares fight that was in 2019 in January.
That was
He
Pablo
did knock
Cesar
him down.
Cano.
Yeah, he knocked
Right.
him down. He knocked him out in the first round,
Yeah, I know,
or
dude.
a technical knockout. But 3 times he
And
was down.
Linares was throwing bombs, bro, because Pablo Cesar Cano, he came in really tough. And Linares, he's going to stand his ground, hold his ground, but his chin didn't hold up. And
Mhm.
yeah, man. And that was an upset because Linares, have you bet against, had you put money on Cesar Cano, probably would have won like 450. And
Hey, bro, and
guys like that don't really get a lot of love or get talked about, but they're always in good fights. Always in good fights. So yeah, man, Pablo Cesar Cano, look out for him, man. He can be really good. But there's also moments where he can get knocked out relatively early, like by Danielito Sorria. I think Danielito, he was with Golden Boy for a minute, and then he lost to Arnold Barboza.
mm,
I don't really remember the order of operations, but that's something that could happen. So, that guy from Uzbekistan, I don't really know if I'm butchering or saying his name correct, but Giyasov, he could knock out Pablo Cesar Cano. Respectively, he more likely will. But
mhm.
in case, Pablo Cesar Cano has that clenbuterol in his system,
Yeah.
damn,
Damn, son, what? That was a low shot. No, I'm just
he's
kidding.
gonna he's gonna hit them with the Cleto Reyes right on the kisser. He might get a shot.
Dang, right on the button.
Yeah, man, we're
But
gonna see some interesting fights. But yeah, that'll be this Saturday, probably like at 3 to 1 a.m. because it is in Japan.
mhm.
But nevertheless, it should be really interesting.
And then Andy Cruz is gonna fight on Edgar Berlanga undercard too.
Andy Cruz,
Yeah, you know who Andy Cruz is?
yeah, the guy that beat Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah, he's pretty much known just for that. But
You think he's
um,
ready to fight Keyshawn right now with like 3 professional fights?
yeah, yeah, I think if you're telling me that somebody who beat Keyshawn 3 times, um, then like it can happen the fourth time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I think Andy has out fucking standing boxing ability. He's got good hand placement. But they like to do like the cha 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 when they boxing. Like they like to like move around. A lot of footwork going on. So like the power isn't really translating. He's just gonna be one of those guys that just gets boxes you around the perimeter, you know. But he can actually box, inside the box, but he's just he's more of an outside fighter when dude's got some power. But this is only his third fight. So he's been fighting in 10 rounders, so that's why he actually knocked out a dude in the third round. Um some dude named Giovanni Strafan. Um but yeah, no, he's gonna win unanimously. Um, I don't know this guy too much about this guy. He's from Mex, from Baja. But yeah, man, I'm trying to look at that same undercard, and I don't see anyone else that's like too like familiar after that. You got Yankiel Rivera. I don't know who that is. Andy Velasquez. But yeah, the rest I really don't know, bro. So it's really just those two. Um, but yeah, that dude, Patrick McCrory. A lot of dudes are talking. Like I'm hearing a lot of buzz about this guy that he can actually pull the upset on
yeah,
Edgar Berlanga, but I just don't see it.
yeah. I don't
Um,
see it either, man.
I don't see it. I think Edgar's he's been gaining his experience in, that's for
Yeah,
sure. Um,
and
been
also
in some tough
people,
fights.
yeah, people don't really give Edgar Berlanga like the respect because he looked human against like Angulo and Steve Rose and Marcelo the Argentinian Coceres. He dropped him, or he got dropped by Coceres. But you guys have to understand, like Steve Rose, he's not a bad fighter. He's just a little old. But I don't know, I think he went like 5 rounds with Triple G. He was giving Triple G good work, and then he got knocked out. Now it's only
Hmm.
4 rounds, but I mean, this is Triple G we're talking about. And then that guy Coceres, he's not bad. As you saw, like he's got a little bit of good skill. Now he's not going to be a champion by any stretch of the imagination, but he had good lateral movement. And for those that don't know, he also fought, like guys like Billy Joe Saunders, and he also fought guys from Canada like Eric Bazinian after Edgar Berlanga. I don't, one before, one after, and he gave these guys interesting fights as well. Nevertheless, a lot of people don't give Edgar Berlanga that credit because he is hype machine, but he's only 20 fights in. It's like if you're being very critical against Jaime Munguia, if he only has like 18 fights in, you'd be like, oh, he's a bum, he's trash, he can't knock out 40-year-olds, knowing that like those guys are actually pretty good and they have good technique and things of that nature. But yeah, man, Edgar Berlanga, I'm not saying that he's gonna be the next great Puerto Rican star like a Xander Zayas, but
Hmm.
he's got some talent and he's got power. Now, if he can able to set up his traps, set up his power shots by
Hmm.
boxing and jabbing and being in there and hitting with body shots, then he's gonna do really good. But again, we'll see how he looks against fighting an undefeated fighter. I don't think Edgar Berlanga has ever fought an undefeated fighter. So
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah. You're right.
like I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's ever fought an undefeated fighter.
You're right.
So
Um, his
maybe Edgar.
first his fifth fight was a 4-0 fighter, but that's about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so it's gonna be really interesting. Like I said, Patty's gonna have a shot, and we're gonna see if he's gonna be able to maximize that potential.
That's his
But
name,
we'll see,
Patty.
man. Did you see? Just going back now towards Canelo, did you see that
Hmm.
interview that he had with? I think it was on YouTube, or at least that's where I watched it on TV Azteca, and how he was going to announce, the next step to his career. Did you see that video? Did you see the news? Did you tune in?
Yeah, yeah. I watched the majority of that interview. It was funny because he was like, I guess they were talking about the Benavides fight, and he it goes, and one of the guys goes, "Sí, pero es mucho dinero," and then he goes, "Sí, pero no." I was like, so he doesn't want to fight him. Like, I don't know. Like a lot of people are thinking, it's Benavides, but dude, I'm I'm starting to believe my cousin, and I'm starting to think it's Jamal. Um, like there was a report last weekend that actually said that Jamal was the next dude up, and pretty much Jamal shut it down. But I mean, it doesn't mean that um, Al's not negotiating with like without him. Like he's
Yeah,
doing that. He can still negotiate. You don't need to talk to Jamal. So it can very well be Jamal. I I hope it's Benavides, but man, like I think I've told you in some DMs or some chats, like give us a hint. Give us a hint. Like give us an emoji, something. Give us some kind of light. Because right now you're not giving us anything. You're just staying quiet, and it's kind of giving me a false hope. You know, I don't prefer quietness. If something's good gonna happen, I prefer some emojis. So it doesn't feel like it's gonna happen. To be honest, what you
yeah.
think?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Jamal was like on some jet skis, right? And he basically announced that, he hasn't received any calls or notifications for a Canelo fight. So basically, he shut the rumors down. But what's very interesting is, and this just comes with the complexity of being the face of boxing, that you have to carry the sport because, it's your turn. It's a responsibility, but it's also an honor to be the face of boxing. And when you are the face of boxing for a couple of years, and it's good that people talk about you, right? So I don't know why these fighters feel like it's disrespect when people be like, "Oh, what if you fight this guy and this guy and this guy?" It's like all in due time. That's all you have to say, all in due time, right? But many years ago, right, and not too long ago, people were always bashing Canelo Alvarez for not fighting Black American fighters. Do you remember this? He wouldn't fight the Charlos. He wouldn't fight Andrade. Errol Spence was calling him out. Bud
So he
Crawford
fought.
never had
So
Canelo on his radar until recent.
mhm.
And when Canelo then dominated Charlo and David Benavidez got knocked out, or he quit against Andre quit against Benavidez, then all of a sudden, it's no longer about Canelo fighting the Black American fighters. Now it's, Jaime Munguia and David Benavidez. But a few years ago, no one was mentioning Canelo's name when David Benavidez got dropped by Ronald Gabriel. No one was saying that. No one was saying, man, Canelo has to fight David after David beat Ronald Ellis or Kyron Davis. No one was calling for those fights. And nobody damn sure was calling for Jaime Munguia to fight Canelo Alvarez when Jaime had that scare against Sergey Derenchenko. And it looked like Jaime was getting beat by the Irishman. Do you remember the Irishman that only lasted like 6 rounds, but he was tagging Jaime left and right?
um, no, I don't remember him. He was from Ireland.
Yeah, Jimmy Kelly.
Jimmy Kelly. Is
Yeah,
that? Are you sure that's his name?
that's his name. Nobody
Mm,
was calling, and this is 2 years ago or a year ago, and no one was calling for Jaime Munguia to fight Canelo. But all of a sudden, when Canelo destroys and picks apart and makes the Lion run for dear life, and Jermell, undisputed, on people's pound for pound list with a lot of momentum, bigger, taller, bigger puncher than Terrence Crawford. No one gave Canelo credit for that performance. Nobody.
mm,
Not the black fan base, not the Mexican fan base.
mm.
They shitted all over Jamel Charlo as if he wasn't undisputed and things of this nature. Right. So now nobody wants to see. So basically now is David Benavidez has replaced the Black American fighter for the Canelo sweepstakes. And like always, Canelo didn't fight those Black American fighters at that time. And now it's on to David Benavidez, right? The new kid on the block, you
Mm.
know, that wears Cuban links and, Scarface like flannels and, cornrows his hair. He's that next fighter for Canelo,
Mm.
right? So the reason I bring this up is Canelo announced that he was going to be fighting an American next,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Who do you
Yeah,
think that American is?
um, I definitely think it's pretty much narrowed down to David and Jamal. I think that's the consensus, and if not, I think he's actually already saying that. In the interview, like he narrowed it down. So those are the only really two Americans that he can fight. Like there's no like rematch of his past American opponents. So I think it'll be Jamal. But this is the thing. I'm a little more optimistic after that interview, solely because he shocked me with the amount of years that or fights he was planning on fighting. So I'm like, one of those got to be David. One of those got to be David. And that made me a lot happier. It's like, how you gonna beat around the bush for 5 straight fights, not fighting Benavides? That'll be horrible on your legacy. So for him to fight 5 fights, um, it's got to be David in the next 5 fights at least. Did he say 3 or 5? I
I
think
think
he
he
said
said he's got 5 years left. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So that's the thing. It's got to be David. So I think the reason why I think it's Jamal is because he in his mind I feel like he got more time to go back to the Benavides fight and actually get more money for that fight if he waits longer. I think that's his mentality, to be honest, like or his intention, to like, pretty much get more money out of this fight. And if he's not, he's willing to wait because 5 fights is well enough, fights for him to be satisfied. But yeah, no, he's gotta fight David, bro. It's such
What
a
if he
big
were to
out.
fight Jesse Hart next? He's an American.
Jesse Hart, man.
What if that was the American? Because if you look at like BoxRec like fighters in the top 30,
Mhm.
you might say that it's Jesse Hart, bro.
Nah, man, that's horrible. Wow. You know what? I'm looking at his resume or on BoxRec. I looked at his BoxRec and there's a April 27th date, but it says there's an 8 rounder, bro. So nah, it can't be him, bro. Good try.
You don't think so? Jesse Hart has a fight scheduled?
Yeah. It's on April 27th.
Let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, look at his box rec because I had to look it up. I was like, man, can this be true? But nah, man,
So
it's
yeah. So you're right. So that's to be announced. You're right. So it's April 27th. I was thinking, what if it was Jesse Hart? But
Diego
man, it's
Pacheco.
like he's in the top 30 or so.
Wait, I just thought an idea. Demetrius Boo Boo Andre. Imagine he fights him.
It would not make sense to fight Andre.
It doesn't.
I could see it, but like, why would you fight Andre coming off a 4K, being knocked out in 46 rounds by David Benavidez? And here it is, BoxRec. I started off earlier, like 30 minutes ago, and I mentioned to our gatekeeper, the Mexican G, the George Lopez that hates on Ralph Barossa, the comedian out of Texas and California. Since he's
Mm.
our gatekeeper, and he's the one that nationalizes Americans to be Mexicans and vice versa. Canelo said he was gonna fight Canelo said that he was gonna fight an American. When you go to BoxRec, Drew, you see an American flag right next to David Benavidez.
Yeah, yeah, man. He's
Rated number
Ecuadorian.
2.
Hmm.
And he said he wasn't going to fight a Mexican, which is Jaime Munguia, right? So I asked, the Mexican G, if he considers David Benavidez Mexican, right? And he said this, he's Mexican through his ancestral roots. So yes, I would consider Mexican. Hey, dude, but we don't have ancestral roots, so he doesn't consider us Mexican. Look, bro. So David Benavidez, obviously, he's Mexican American Ecuadorian, but first and foremost, he's American before he is Mexican, and he's American before he is Ecuadorian because he was born here. And if he were to go through the Olympic trials, he would represent Team USA over Mexico or Ecuadorian. I don't know if he's Ecuadorian from his mom's side or his dad's side, but never the point, he's American. Okay. Any kid that's 16 years old, weighs over 230 pounds, playing Call of Duty and eating snacks at 16 years old, sparring Triple G, is American. Because in Ecuadorian, they don't. No, I'm not going to say that, but
What you gonna
they
say?
don't have that access to a bunch of chips to get you to
Say it.
260.
Say it with your chest. No,
You know what I mean? You're not going to weigh 260 at age 14, sparring Triple G. So he's American. That's an American tradition. Eating chips and gaming Call of Duty and grinding Damascus skins on your COD mobile guns. That's an American thing to do. Okay. So David Benavidez is American. So that might be Canelo's next opponent. But it goes to say this. If Canelo has intentions, Drew, to fight for 5 more years, why wouldn't you save David Benavidez last?
Why
Would you
wouldn't he?
fight him next?
Um, Maybe he's waiting for the money to be right. Maybe he does intend on fighting Benavidez, but he just willing to fight him the next fight after this fight and risk it and risk taking an L. Like I think he's okay with that. But it depends who he fights. And I can't think of any American who can give an L to Canelo unless he fights at 175.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the thing. Who? Who can he fight? And it doesn't even matter at this point who can beat Canelo, what American can beat Canelo, which American can you see Canelo choosing, And I think it'll be such a slap in the face for him to fight to fight Benavidez. I mean Benavidez, Boo Boo. Especially coming off a knockout loss to Benavidez. So it's like, dude, that's like a slap in the face right there. But that's like the most surprising one I can think of. But
What if,
man,
check this out. What if Canelo makes a special appearance on the zone?
Jake Paul.
And no. And he's waiting to see who wins between Edgar Berlanga and Patty McCrory.
Mm.
Because Edgar Berlanga's American. He's like in the top
True.
20, top 10. What if he makes a special appearance on the zone and he's looking? Because he said that he was going to announce the fight or his next opponent within a week or two, right? Edgar Berlanga fights this Saturday, this coming up Saturday. So what if he's waiting and he makes a special appearance and he fights Edgar Berlanga?
I wouldn't be surprised, man. That would be a good one. If you were to fight Berlanga, that would be like, oh, he would be like a word wizard with that because he would be like, "Did I lie?" He's American, but that would really like just shock, not shock us, but like kind of raise our eyebrows. Like, damn, you got, like, damn, you got us good.
Yeah. I
We're over
think
here
that's his
looking at
next opponent, bro. Edgar Berlanga.
that would be a.
If everything goes right and he wins
Mhm.
that fight, he's fighting Edgar Berlanga next.
Would you be
Mexico,
okay with that?
Puerto Rico fighting an undefeated American coming off beating an undefeated fighter for a voluntary or mandatory defense. And if Canelo were to go in there, sit ringside next to Eddie Hearn, that's Eddie Berlanga. That's how you would go about matchmaking. Because when I bring this up because I think Eddie Hearn kind of slipped up a little bit, and he said that he recently was talking to Canelo Alvarez. Who do you have to offer Canelo, Eddie?
Yeah.
Besides Edgar Berlanga, we
Ooh.
know we're not gonna get. You're not gonna feed him Diego Pacheco.
Mm-mm.
Why would Canelo fight a kid with like he's not even on the a contender phase right now? He's still going up to the rankings. It would be Edgar Berlanga, bro. I think
Hmm.
Canelo will announce, he left PBC and he's fighting Edgar, man.
Bro, how would you feel about him fight? With him fighting Berlanga, like, or would you be content, or would you kind of, what would you feel about that?
Only I don't mind it. Only if Edgar Berlanga looks how Jaime Munguia looked against John Ryder. If Edgar under Memo Heredia were to look very impressive
Mm-hmm.
and beat an undefeated fighter like how Jaime beat John Ryder, then I would be like, yeah, bro, let's get that fight going. I'm okay with it. Because if Canelo is giving us 5 more years, when he can retire today, he can retire tomorrow. And Canelo has stated in the past, I'm going to continue to fight as much as I can until the signs show me that I don't got it anymore, right? Which basically means if Canelo starts to slow down. Lately, he hasn't. He still looked really good, right?
Right.
And I'll be okay with it because it's a career. See, a lot of people forget that, as inactive as these fighters are, if they're going to only fight 2 times a year, especially Canelo, he has a lot of wear and tear. You can see by the sleeves that he wears on his kneecaps, the surgery that he's been having lately on his body. It's a lot of wear and tear. I'm okay with
Yeah.
Edgar Berlanga. I would be even okay if Canelo were to fight Edgar Berlanga, Diego Pacheco, David Benavides, and Billy or an Eric Bazinian, and then Jaime Munguia. I would be okay with that. That's like 6 fights. That would be 3 years, and then boom. Because there's not many big names. It's really unfair to ask Canelo to move up to 175 and to fight Artur Beterbiev or the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol because those guys are big as hell. And guess what? Canelo did test the waters at 175 twice, and both times he basically was getting outboxed. He didn't
Hmm.
look that good against Sergey Kovalev, and he didn't look too bad against Bivol, but like, damn, bro, Canelo is really small compared to these dudes that are rehydrating past 200 pounds, you know, easily 210, give or take. Bivol looked that much more massive. So did Sergey Kovalev, especially when they rehydrated. And Kovalev, I think the only reason why Canelo looked so dominant is Kovalev just had he had beaten Elider Alvarez, give or take, and then like less than a month and a half notice, boom, he's right back in there fighting Canelo. So he didn't really have that much, R&R. But yeah, I would be okay if it was Edgar Berlanga, man. What about you?
Yeah, I'm all right with it. You're talking about the Berlanga fight, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'm good with that. Like, if it's next, then I want him to kind of like promise us after the fight that it's next, or some kind of confirmation. Like give me that Triple G announcement. Like after that fight. You know how they did that? Like give me that for the David Benavidez fight. You know, that would like get everyone hype. But yeah, just as long as you kind of, well, obviously as long as you fight Benavidez. But yeah, I'm totally cool with that. That's Puerto Rico versus Mex. I think that fight will sell to an extent, and I think it's a good fill-in fight for Canelo.
Yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Even though Edgar Berlanga is a heavy hitter and he's undefeated, I wouldn't necessarily call him a filler fight. But you know, it. I get what you're going. That's an interesting way. Let me ask you this, bro. Wasn't Xander Zaya supposed to fight over the weekend?
Fuck, nah, I don't think so.
You sure?
Uh, I'm pretty sure, man. I think
I
he
thought he
just
was supposed
doing.
to be the co-main event of Oshaki Foster, bro.
No way. I don't think so,
I
but I
thought
don't
so.
remember.
Yeah, I think they canceled that fight.
What?
Not
Let me check right now.
Yeah, and
Let's see.
at least on Bovada, it said that he was gonna, be fighting on that night. But
No, he was
maybe
on the side. Like he was doing announcements and stuff like that. Like he was doing like the media stuff for the top rank books, like the Spanish top rank.
yeah.
He was doing their translation. He was doing on the booth and type of shit. But yeah, no, he wasn't fighting, bro. Like I don't.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't even show him like trying to weigh in, nothing like that. It looks like he's been kind of enjoying the fruits of his labor lately. You know. But yeah, top rank that was supposed to be okay. Yeah, that was on Friday. Nah, man. I like Xander, man. Xander's a good fighter. He should have been. He should. You're trying to say that he should fight on that undercard or what?
Well, well, anytime I get to see Xander Zayas, it's good, bro, because he looks to be really good, really athletic. He can box.
Mhm.
Um, he can counter. Oh, dude, he's just really good. And I know he hasn't really been fighting a lot of big names, but that dude's dangerous. Maybe in a foreseeable future, I wouldn't mind seeing Xander Zayas versus Brian Castano. Dude,
Mhm.
imagine.
Yeah, I know. That
That's
would be a good
another guy
fight.
that just needs to come out of retirement or whatever it is that he's doing. That's what retirement looks like. Not
Hmm.
announcing it on social media. It looks like Brian Castano after tough fights with Jermel Charlo. You don't hear nothing about him. Maybe he announced something, maybe he posts on social media, but it looks like he just goes quiet. That's what retirement looks like. And then after 4 years of eating that beef from Argentina and the cows, then you get surgery on your abs to get a six pack like Marcos Maidana. That's what Brian Castano probably is doing right now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That's what retirement looks like. Not Shakur or Teofimo after a victory. But yeah, no, man. If Xander and Brian Castano would fight, that would be a really good fight, man. Really good
yeah.
fight, man. I miss Brian Castano. That dude, that fight with him and Jamel, it
Hmm.
still breaks my heart that these two fought for undisputed the first time, and there was a draw, and it was in Carson, California, and we didn't go, bro. I asked all
I
my cousins
know.
and my brother. I don't know if I asked you, and my cousins said no, bro. They're like, nah, I can't. Damn, and that fight ended up being amazing.
I know, dude. That was a close fight. Did you ask me?
I don't know. Maybe I did, bro. I don't even know. But yeah, man. And we missed
Hey,
out on dude, tickets were $60 to watch undisputed Jermel or undisputed title fight between Jermel and Brian Castano. And then when I was watching it on TV, it wasn't even a sold out crowd, bro. I was like,
damn.
wow. The little moments like that are historical. Like if somebody
Hmm.
asked you like years down the line, let's say Jermel were to beat Canelo Alvarez, at that time. Let's say Jermel did beat Canelo on
Hmm.
September. We would have been like, bro, we watched him fight. We knew he was the goods. Like when we saw Jaime Munguia beat Liam Smith and drop him like in the 11th, and then they got up to give us a good fight. And let's say Jaime 2 years from now beats Canelo Alvarez, we'd be like, bro, we watched that fucking dude live in the Hard Rock.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for $60 undisputed, bro. In our
Yeah,
own
that's
backyard,
crazy,
give or take, and we didn't go. Wow.
bro. I mean, we got to take advantage of the close fights. I think
I agree,
we
man.
but we did. With the Stockton fight. Top rank card. Like
That
we
was
took
yeah,
full
that was
advantage.
cool. That was cool.
We took full advantage of it. But That's
Yeah.
like, double the drive time, So,
Yeah, no,
um,
it's true.
and it's Carson, bro. Like they have a lot of fights like every weekend. Like even in the LA area, last weekend my uncle had a fight. That Jesus Guero Gomez.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah. You
fought at
know?
Yeah, he fought at the Commerce.
Did he win?
Yeah, he won.
Nice.
Oh no, it was a split decision draw, I think, or some shit like that. But
Okay.
um, no, he keeps getting these opportunities, man, on the UFC Fight Pass. Um, and there, what's his name was there? Jose Benavidez. He was
Oh,
there, so he had a fighter, I think, out there and shit. But yeah, man. Back to that Carson card, bro. I was gonna tell you. You know who else fought on that card?
who?
Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis fought Custio Clayton on that same undercard.
Oh, okay. That
And
was a while back though.
yeah, I'm talking about the. I think I'm talking about the first fight, bro. Oh no, 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 no! I'm talking about the second one, the second Charlo, because the second fight he knocked him out. Or he didn't knock him out, but it was
Yeah, yeah.
it, it was a
He knocked out Clayton in 2 rounds. Kind of hit him behind the ear. Clayton didn't want to get
no
back up.
Charlo.
Oh, Charlo?
Yeah, yeah. Charlo knocked out Brian Castano in the second
But that
fight,
was in
correct?
Houston. And I think he knocked out Brian Castano. That was Jermel Castano, like in Houston, Texas, and I think he knocked him
Okay,
out like in the ninth round.
okay. Never mind. I'm wrong then. This one it says on top, Carson, California. So this was the first fight.
Yeah,
And Jaron Ennis fought that dude Custio on the co-main. And then Marcos Hernandez lost to Brandon Lynch or some shit like that.
yeah.
Marlon Tapales was on that card.
Let me tell you this, man. Many times we were asking Floyd Mayweather, "Hey, bro, fight, Black American fighters. Fight the Keith Thurman, fight the Errol Spence, Kell Brooks, Sean Porter." For a long time, Floyd wouldn't want to fight those fighters, and he, in fact, never did. Right? He
Mm-hmm.
felt bad and pity and sympathy because Andre Berto never got a shot, and that was his going away fight before he fought Conor McGregor. He fought Andre Berto to retire basically from professional fighting, and then he fought Conor McGregor. Canelo Alvarez is doing a really similar thing by not fighting his people, right? Floyd Mayweather went on to fight a lot of Latinos, making them very wealthy, very rich in the process. And Canelo Alvarez, give or take, is doing that as well by fighting everybody around the world except Canelo. I mean, except Mexicans. So he's kind of starving his own people, like how Mayweather kind of starved his own people.
What about Errol Spence?
Nah, I don't think Canelo can fight Demetrius Andrade and Errol Spence based on KO.
Mm,
Just like he's never done that in the past.
mm,
Fought in a fighter coming off a defeat.
yeah.
No one's coming off a victory at least.
Mm.
So
Worth a try.
the reason I bring up Mayweather and Canelo is they're very similar. At least Canelo moves very similar to the way Floyd does. Floyd didn't want to fight black fighters, and Canelo doesn't want to fight Mexicans, right? Now, Canelo's reason is, I mean, he hasn't really stated. He hasn't really stated why he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. But, in the past, he's always talked about how he's always wanted to unite Latinos. But there's nothing more like that unites La Raza, so to speak, if you fight another Mexican. Like it's an honor and it's a tradition, to fight and give amazing fights, on Cinco de Mayo on Independence Day. That's what Barrera and Morales did. That's what Marquez did many times. And it's an honor. But for Canelo, he looks at it, it's divisive. It's gonna cause division between our people, right? And I know he learned a
Mhm.
little thing or two about when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez. It kind of like hurt him, I guess, because he's all about pride and unifying his people and being very strong and solid and being a great ambassador not only of the sport of boxing but Mexican boxing, right? That's why he signed that Azteca TV deal and gave the Mexican fan base all his fights for free rather than being on pay-per-view or whatever the case may be, because he's
I
really
got one.
is down for his country. He's all about that. But if his own people are saying, bro, fight David, That's what we want. And
Mhm.
Canelo is excluding and not feeding another Mexican American family's mouth and tummies. Why would you be interested in fighting Edgar Berlanga? You
Mhm.
see, it's the ultimate sign of disrespect. It's like, for example, Drew, if you have a business, right? And I humbly ask you, and I go through the same steps as everybody else. I create a resume, I get job experience, and I apply for your position. And then you say, oh, you know what, Rick? Nah, bro, I can't hire you because I won't be able to be professional. You know, you're my homie, bro. Um, let's say you tell me that BS excuse. I'm like, what you mean, bro? I got experience. I'm not asking for favoritism. I'm not asking for, to get compensated more than another person. I'm just saying I'm just as, a reputable candidate for this job position that I'm offering based on my training and experience. And then you hit me with the BS like, bro, I went another way because, I can't. I have too many friends in my line of work. If there are
Mhm.
too many of my friends and cousins in my business. So what's more? What's one more? That's the kind of
Mhm.
excuse that Canelo is giving his reason to not fighting Jaime Zurdo or David Benavidez.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know
no, it's a
that like how can you be about uniting your people and bringing people together when you have the greatest opportunity to do so, and all Mexican orgullo, Mexican undercard, another Mexican, Mexicans against Mexicans, all these things, and you see that as a disrespect. I wonder what Canelo feels like. Hey, Canelo, I want somebody to ask him, hey, Canelo, how do you feel about the peleas with Barrera and Morales? How do you feel about Juan Manuel Marquez and Pacquiao, Rocky Juarez, Marquez? How do you feel about all those amazing fights? I guarantee he's gonna be like, oh yeah, son mis favoritos. So why would
yeah.
he rob the fans and rob himself of having that amazing performance or fights with David Benavidez, Jaime Munguia, and company? Because those guys are not going to run. Those guys are going
Mhm.
to fight. They're going to bring it. Why doesn't
Yeah.
Canelo want to eventually, when he's 50 years old and he has his dad bod like Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales with their own YouTube channel, Un Round Mas? I wonder why Canelo doesn't want to have that with these other fighters. See, it's
Mhm.
very similar how Mayweather wouldn't fight those undefeated slick black fighters.
Yeah.
You see, and it's
Yeah.
very hypocritical. And I hate how these channels don't really ask Canelo those hard hitting questions. It's like you got this wrong, Canelo. You're taking
Mhm.
this personal when it should be all about business and it should be about pride. And that's one of the things that a lot of people are very critical of Canelo is that he doesn't really have ese orgullo, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's like they told him, bro, like literally all I needed to hear was this. You go the when they were interviewing him, they said, "Pero es mucho dinero," and he goes, "Sí, pero no." I'm like, bro,
I
like
didn't even
what's
see
your
that snippet because I don't remember that.
he goes, "Sí, pero no." I'm like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? Like so it's little petty excuses, kind of like what you're saying. He's just using the smallest, they're not small excuses, but he's making things more important. And when in reality, he doesn't give a fuck about those things, you
Yeah.
know? And it's kind of like, bro, come on, man, just at least be more straight up. But he doesn't want to ruin his image. I just thought of someone right now. Um, Erickson Lubin.
What, you think
No,
Canelo would fight Erickson Lubin, 154 pounder?
make him move up.
I mean, nah. I don't think you
Nah,
can give it. I don't think you can say Erickson Lubin because Jesus Ramos, he beat Erickson Lubin. And I was on the Canelo undercard, right? When Canelo fought Jermel. Jesus
ooh,
Ramos from Arizona beat Erickson Lubin and they robbed him, you know.
they
And
robbed him for a reason.
yeah, they robbed him.
Oh,
But bro, like I'm
that's a good
disgusted
guess.
sometimes by these American judges, or like, how could you rob Jesus Ramos and
Yeah, he
give it
got
to
robbed.
Erickson Lubin? How did Erickson Lubin win that fight, bro? He didn't. And how could you even have that fight close?
He won some rounds.
Yeah, two at best, maybe three.
Really?
Bro, he would throw a flurry of punches and Jesus would block all of them. And it's no disrespect to Jesus. It's not like he didn't. land everything, but like he
Mhm.
was the only one trying to pressure and make the fight.
But
And
I think you told me this too though, or somebody told me. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. Somebody told me, I forget who I was watching it with, but he goes, like you're letting go too many rounds, Jesus.
yeah, I was
There's
in
too.
Texas, but at the
Okay,
time
yeah,
when
no,
that fight
you gave up
happened,
too many rounds. Like he
yeah,
let.
but I didn't really see it like that though. Like
Mhm.
I know that there was times where I'm like, damn, bro, like you cannot hit Erickson Lubin unless he's not on the ropes. Like I understand, but it's not like Erickson Lubin was tagging Jesus Ramos, bro. You know, it was a very boring, very methodical fight. Jesus was being very cautious, you know, because Lubin did have the speed advantage. But yeah, Erickson Lubin didn't win that fight, bro. Not at all, man. And you know, it was wide too. Like they made it unanimous. Like one judge only had it like 7-5, and one judge had it 9-3 for Erickson Lubin. 9-3, bro.
That's crazy. That's insane, bro. It shouldn't even be that way, bro. Like, it it was a really close fight. It wasn't Erickson Lubin domination, but I think Erickson Lubin did enough to edge him out, and he actually got like his IQ, bro. Like his IQ really just showed out, and he really outsmarted Jesus towards the later
No,
rounds, bro. But
no,
I do, yeah, he did, bro. I gotta
no,
watch that
dude.
fight again, but I remember feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? And
Bro,
I think it's a possible, like, like I think Jesus it looked like Jesus was about to fucking knock him out in the
he
beginning of the
landed
fight. I'm
60
like,
more
oof,
punches than Lubin, bro.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Ramos
But
landed 60 more punches than Erickson Lubin. And they gave it to Erickson Lubin. Like, nah, bro. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, when I watched that
Jesus
fight,
let
I
that
was
go,
like,
bro.
for sure. I did a parlay, bro. I went Erickson Lubin, I went Jesus Ramos by decision, Mario Barrios by decision, Canelo by KO, and I went Armando Resendez, and Elisha Garcia tore him up. And then I did another parlay because you know Armando Resendez, who I thought he was for sure is gonna beat Elijah Garcia from Arizona. So wrong about that. You know, I was like, all right, let me do it again. Jesus Ramos by decision, Mario Barrios by decision, and Canelo by KO. And you know, I think Jesus Ramos was the co-main event. I was happy with Mario Barrios beat, you know, Yordenis Ugas. And then that robbery happened. I was like, no way, dude. Even Canelo's face was like, como? You know? Um, yeah, no, dude,
Yeah,
that
that was
was
frustrating.
peaceful, bro. Wow.
Yeah, it sucked for Jesus. I remember feeling like towards the end of the fight, I'm like, dude, I think Jesus let this fight go. He had it. He had this fight, but he just let Lubin run off with some rounds. And he was not contemplating, but he kind of got too comfortable. He never really turned it up on Erickson Lubin. Allowed Erickson Lubin to run around the ring. He never he could have cut off the ring, but he didn't expect Lubin to have such good legs and keep running. And and he was popping him with some shots, bro, on the way out. So I just feel like towards the end of the fight, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if Lubin wins. I wouldn't be surprised. And he wins, and I'm like, I mean, I can't blame the judges, man. Like judges were just scoring cards round by round, and then they seen that, hey, his Jesus actually ended up landing way more shots, uh, just 60 more shots. But I mean, 60 more shots in certain rounds. Like I think Erickson Lubin actually did unanimously like beat him in some rounds.
Yeah,
It was a draw. I wouldn't have been mad at a draw. I
yeah,
love draws, man. I'm such a fan of draws because no one complains. There's less, skepticism, or there's less hate, like there's just less conspiracies, all this shit, man. Like I'm just fucking such a fan of draws.
yeah. I feel you, bro. Let me ask you a question, bro, just to kind of wrap up this topic and have a little bit of fun. Deontay Wilder.
Oh
um,
man.
Do
You're
you want to
wild.
talk about this or not?
You want to talk about the Wild Boys? Damn.
Oh man, dude.
Dude,
So
no one's
what's
talking
up
about
with
it,
old
but
boy, bro? What's he doing, bro?
man, honestly, that's some sticky shit right there, you know, cause um Wilder just kind of gives you uh this image that he's just a perfect human being, you
Yeah,
know, and I'm like he's like almost referring himself to God and shit, you know, like just the way he talks. I'm like, dude, you're out of reality or something, man, cuz you just letting your temptations, you know, whatever hit you, you know, so it
man.
it's a weird
Do you think
situation.
Deontay Wilder's ruining his legacy, bro?
He could, because
Because
but sucks because his brother's a boxer too, you know, and it's not like his brother's of just a businessman, you know. There's like people are going to support that dude now, you know, and there's always going to be that emotion between them, you know, and in the eyes of the public too, you
yeah,
know, and in the eyes of the public, Deontay, this is the thing, boxing media isn't pushing this. Like, you don't, like, there's not too many people are like openly like talking about this shit, you know, because it's kind of like extra personal, you know, but and it has to do with two family members, you know.
is it
And
true though?
is it true what?
Is it true? Like, is that Deontay Wilder's like Twitter or X account or whatever's where he sent out that message and that information?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. It's there's multiple screenshots that I've seen, and they're all like Deontay
Is it
Wilder.
his like verified page? Is it like the little blue check mark and
Yeah, bro. I mean, they're playing audio in that message box, whatever, and they're pretty much playing his voice, and that's his voice. That's telling him, telling his brother, "Oh, I love you," this and that, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's official tissue right there, you know.
yeah?
But
You think we should
it's
make
all
that its
bad,
own
man.
video, huh? Deontay Wilder ruining his reputation or something, huh?
Yeah,
Because
but look, man, don't you think it all correlates, right? I think everything correlates. Like, there's a reason why you in a sense are just a good fighter. Like it correlates with who you are as a person, you know, and you see it, and it kind of you know got in the spotlight, you know, the last couple of days, you know. So
yeah,
I think he already isn't in a good position right now, like as far as his rankings and all that, with taking an L. Like at this point, he just kind of seems like a fraud, like in a sense, you
yeah.
know.
I didn't want to use
So
that word, but yeah, I would agree, bro. His career has been very manufactured. He never fought Alexander Povetkin. He never fought Klitschko, right? Shelly Finkel said that he was just a baby when he had like 30 fights, when he was Klitschko's mandatory. Every single fight, he doesn't take accountability. There's Glovegate. There's a conspiracy. He fires an Olympian trainer in Mark Breland. And he says the reason he lost to Joseph Parker is because of jet lag and all this traveling left and right here, and how Joseph Parker had a link there in camp and all of these things. And he's ruining his reputation of what was left. And then there comes out this news with him and his brother of all of these like Illuminati kind of acts that are going on, you know, eyes wide shut moments. I mean, when he would come out, bro, this is the guy that said of that lengthy walk when he was wearing that shredder outfit that his legs were tired.
he is the king of excuses, bro.
Bro, like, dude, it's up there like, and you know, it
And then he goes, "I'm not here to make excuses, but here they are."
bro, it's crazy, bro. And then this like thing that comes out with his brother and how he's like, man, my brother never had my back, and you're dating three of my exes, and you know, my a person that I was with for 3 years, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, damn, bro, like, why are you airing this out in public? You know? And then the excuses, bro, it's like Joseph Parker whooped your ass. There's a reason why They banned that drug for Povetkin 3 months after the fact, and then they canceled out, and then they put news reports that he was a drug cheat just to save you, Wilder, so you can have a career because you weren't going to beat Povetkin. Bro, now I'm starting to question if you could even beat Dylan White. Dylan White beat Joseph Parker. You look like shit against Joseph Parker. Bro, what were you doing? Nah, man, if there was ever a fighter that people give so much the pass for, remember, they only give Deontay Wilder a pass. And this is just the mediocrity of American boxing, let alone American heavyweight boxing, right? They're so dying of a superstar in the heavyweight division because they can't make fighters and grown men anymore, bro. In terms of the heavyweight scene, look at Jared Anderson, how he moves too. He says he didn't even want to be the best.
I know, and that's what
just
sucks,
like, bro,
man.
how can you say things like that? Like, what are you doing this sport for? Now, you're in the sport to make money and things like that. Like, good luck. There's other ways, more lucrative ways to make money, especially if you're not trying to fight the best Jared Anderson. But after Jared Anderson, what's the next American heavyweight?
No one, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we are so desperate for a heavyweight.
Crazy right there. And it's true. You can't even think of one. Maybe Richard Torres.
Yeah, and look at he lost to Jalalov like twice.
But he's good though. Jalalov is a beast, bro. He's like 6'8".
Yep. Yeah, Jalalov is fucking good.
But yeah, no, man, it's crazy, dude. And it's a little sad. After, man, bro, it's just the mediocrity of I don't know, man, just what people don't really expect to. I don't know, man. Sometimes we put a lot of pressure on everybody else, but it's not really that pressure. It's just competition. You know, it's just it's all competition. You know, every other sport, they have to face the best as they face the worst. And there's a schedule. And boxing is the only sport that is probably the most legitimate sports, because those punches and those slurred speeches and the brain damage, that's real. But they go about operating from a business standpoint. Boxing really don't stand on business. There is no standard of excellence. There is no
I think
legitimate, bro. And it sucks because it's one of the most brutalizing, tantalizing stories when you do it properly. And if you build the sport properly, it is the greatest sport. But because of these illegitimate fighters, structure, pay from the top to the bottom levels, it's the downfall of one of the greatest sports in American history. And it sucks to see that these fighters don't want to legitimize it again. That's sad, bro.
I think it's I think the sport is caught up with a lot of scrutiny, and I think they're caught up with technology is really just holding us back in a sense, because I feel like we need AI, bro. I think once that happens, we'll get legitimate winners. We'll get legitimate everything.
What do you mean by AI, though?
Just because they count the number of punches that throw and land, and if we're judging it off the eye, then it's gonna be our judgment that makes the call, And I think they need to know. We need to know for sure who's winning these fights, And I think we'll get a whole different winner for a lot of these fights, but we'll get real champions,
But AI it goes based on what you code and what you program. Obviously, artificial intelligence is something that thinks for itself. But unless the robots know what it feels like to get hit, unless the robots know the impact and they can calculate the measure of a punch in terms of technique, torque, and speed, and they'd be like, oh, that was kind of like the punching machines. Oh, that was a 250 plus blow that did damage. But what if it's blocked? What if it's, diffused? What if it's countered? Does that still have the same impact? What is the pain tolerance of the guy's abdomen? Like, how do we know? This is not one of those, Mortal Kombat situations where there's a fighter that has this health bar and every punch takes, you subtract 10 or 50 or it's a 7-punch combination and it keeps minimized. Like, artificial intelligence is not going to be able to weigh that. You see, because everybody's punch tolerance and pain tolerance is completely different, you know. And so I don't think artificial intelligence can help in that notion, because it's going to go based on what we weigh and what we calculate and how we score certain situations. And we can't even get scoring properly scored in every fight, let alone a robot going to be able to do it, you know? So I don't think artificial intelligence can help. I think, you know, humans, boxers, and instant replay to get it right in that moment of when it happens. Instant replay is not hard to do, you know, especially when you have a minute in between rounds. Let's say you knock me down in the third round and we're already in the seventh. That's more than enough time, 4 rounds after the fact, right, to correct and rectify a flaw and then tell the judges, hey, this knockdown did not count. So tally it up. It's very doable. You don't need artificial intelligence to get it right. And that's one of the things that boxing is so outdated. It's like years ago, I don't know, maybe in 2006, Mexico, right? I'm talking about soccer here, football. Mexico was playing Netherlands. And Netherlands, there's this guy named Robin. He was a pelon. He was bald. And supposedly he just flopped. And they gave him a penalty kick. And Mexico was going to win, bro. It was like the last 5 minutes left. And they tied it up 1-1. If they just had used instant replay, Mexico is going to the semifinals. I think that was the quarterfinals. And they were
Yeah.
probably going to play Argentina. I forgot exactly who. But
Mm.
nevertheless, they didn't use instant replay, and Robin flopped. And they ended up winning in extra time 2-1. So what I'm saying is boxing don't want to use instant replay because they're all for the, you know, the fuckery. And,
Yeah.
you know, just because artificial intelligence is available doesn't mean they're going to use it and, apply it, because there's too much money invested into a illegitimate sport where it's going to affect your pockets to get the sport correct. You see, because the people that have the power, have the structure and the influence and the association and the links to make this sport great, they're profiting off of it, bro. So they don't want to fix the sport if they're making a lot of money. If you're making $1 million annually, right, Drew, off a sport, why would you try to correct it when if you do correct it, you're only going to pocket 250,000. You're going to lose 750 to try to do it right. Andre Ward, this is a sidebar, but Andre Ward said, man, boxing needs a union. They need pension. Okay, so who's going to put up the money, Ward? I agree. There should be like a union that after, the fighters that don't make millions, they can have health care and things of that. But who's going to put up the money? How are you going to go about doing it? It's nice to bring awareness to it. And then there's actually putting your money where your mouth is, Ward, and get stuff happening. You see, are you willing to make that sacrifice? Because you got paid a lot of money. You are part of the 1% that actually profited a lot of making money in the sport of boxing. You got paid handsomely, and you probably could have got paid more if you stayed or fought Canelo or went up to heavyweight. So I just feel like um,
So this is my take, right?
for a different day. But yeah, man.
This is my take, right? Like, I think, um, I think you're underestimating the power of AI, and I think it'll shock you once we implement it because it's inevitable. I think it's going to happen, bro. It has to happen, and I think human judgment is no longer going to be here. Like, like AI is going to take over, bro. And once it does, we're gonna have real copy box numbers. We're gonna have actual real pain tolerance. Like AI can actually sit like record you and actually see how you are fighting during your past fights, and then they'll try to implement that to your current fight and say, hey, this isn't you. Like, why you look like shit? You're getting out punched this time. You're losing. This isn't unlike you. And I think once it gets people's like ability to find the range, like actually tell impact when it impacts, and then like dude, they can actually these because I fly drones, and I pretty much get told that this isn't. I tell my customers all the time, like pretty soon, drones are gonna be able to do quality checks for us because I have to
Yeah.
still get on roofs. And then he said, this dude that said that worked for an AI company, he said they already are. Tesla's already using them, and they're already rolling them out like by next year. So these things are gonna crawl on the roofs pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I think we're underestimating the power of AI, and I think it'll be a breakthrough. Like, why not check out the best technology and see who actually is the best fighter on the planet?
No,
You know?
no, I'm not trying to underestimate AI. I've already seen a couple years ago that there was a little robot delivering snacks for people and Santa Monica. Like, I'm not underestimating AI. I'm just underestimating AI out of the things of the world. You think AI is interested in associating itself with boxing? Absolutely not. They're going to associate themselves on the delivery service like Amazon and food and things of that nature, transport. They don't care about boxing, at least right now. Sure, eventually you'll have robots versus robots fighting one another. And then you're going to be behind a robot controller controlling that robot, left hook, right hook, and fight for you. Of course, you know, but that's 100 years from now.
AI is gonna take over in 2 years,
Speed goes, that is not AI. That
and
is robotics.
he's
Look,
absolutely
man,
right.
I
Look. Let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you the difference. A robotic, that's all mechanic. AI is a software.
yeah,
Boom.
true.
What happened?
But oh yeah, yeah, my bad, my bad.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Go for it, Drew.
No. I said AI is a software. Robotics is more of a mechanical thing. Robotics is just it's not AI and robotics not the same. But yeah, no, I'm talking about like softwares that can actually do all this for us, because that's what it is. I tell you guys when I try to make memes, it's all about software. So it's gonna come in 2 years, bro. Like it's gonna you think 10 years? No, less than 2 years. I guarantee you.
No,
And all the
and
sports,
who's to
all the
say
sports.
though? Who's to say right now? The people that are doing CompuBox, because they never announce who the people that are calculating how many punches thrown. Is it like a pitch count where the umpire or the coaches be like, oh, he just squeezed on a little button, one pitch, two pitch, three pitch in an inning? They're probably already using AI to calculate how many punches were being
Yeah,
thrown. They have
yeah.
the sensors, so who's to say they haven't been using it for a
They're
long
one
time?
step
Is it a
away.
person behind a glass screen that's counting the punches thrown for each side? So there's a human error, or have they already been using a program? So that's what I'm saying. Like, that stuff has already probably been implemented, but CompuBox, nevertheless, is not used for judges to be like, oh, well, this guy threw 10 punches in this round, and this guy. They don't do that. Now,
I I think AI will be able to tell who's winning a round live, and that'll change the whole game. But they're one step away with Copybox, bro. They're like one step away. They already have it set up. Like they're literally like one software away from implementing AI. But it's not here yet, so we're gonna still complain about um these fights, these close fights at least. But yeah, no, I hope I just whatever it is, whatever happens, I just hope I'm hearing my echo right now.
oh, okay, go ahead.
Now, but whatever it is, I hope it's for the best, the better of boxing. Like I want the real winners to win, and I want like I'm tired of all these robberies. But I can see a time and place where we're arguing with fucking AI. Like he did not just fucking win that fight. So I am a little scared that AI is just gonna have it totally upside down, and I hope that's not the case. But yeah, man, go ahead, man. That's all I gotta say about the AI.
Yeah, no. Let me ask you this: Why do you think? Why do you think? This is not the first time
that humans have been scared about, the industrial revolution or machines taking over people's jobs. This has been happening for many years, right? Now there's robots that clean your floor when before we used to have a maintenance person or janitorial. There's
Yep.
people that used to package certain things. Now it's all machinery. So I'm sure, but let me tell you this: if we go to that stage of, you know misallocating resources and focusing on robotics to get something right that can be made by a human, why would a machine be like, bro, you humans are useless, you guys are extremely flawed, you guys aren't pure, we're gonna eliminate you? What does that sound like? It sounds like Hitler. If eventually machines are gonna be like, you humans are useless, you humans are only for our entertainment.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when boxing implements AI, we don't need AI to get our sport correct. We don't. The only reason why you would use CompuBox and replace the judges is so you don't pay the judges, or so maybe to get it correct. But again, you don't need that if you have instant replay. If you can have the
Hmm.
ability to correct your flaws, you would use it. That's what I'm trying
True.
to tell you.
That's true.
Boxing is illegitimate because they could get this stuff right, but they choose not to. Because again, if you're making $1 million right now, why would you want to legitimize it and then you lose 750,000 and you're only getting 250? That lavish lifestyle, that Rolls Royce, that Bugatti that you're driving, that 45 acre ranch that you have in Mexico with 100 goats and cows and organic food, you're gonna lose half of that.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So why would you want to do that? Um,
That's a good point. They can always go out of their way and go look at
why
the.
can't judges use CompuBox to help them reinforce their point of the scoring? Why
Yeah,
don't they do that? You know,
and they don't.
so even if AI is available, they don't even give the judges the foresight or that extra paper to use mathematics to calculate. Man, let's say for example the first round is very very close, action packed. Guy throws 100 punches, the other guy throws 95, and it's basically 5 punches the difference, a margin of error, and you'd be like, oh man, I loved how Rodrigo started the first round, but then at the ending of the round Bernard closed it really good. Let me see CompuBox just to see which metric. It's a 50
Mm.
50. I should score at 9 9 or 10 10. But, the math says this guy won at 5. I'm a favorite. You know what I'm saying? Why don't they use that
Yeah,
now?
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's yeah. I think they're a little scared that the judge's judgment is gonna change in the highlight, and they might just get it totally wrong after that. Like it just gives them the ability to flip flop too much, and I think they need one point of view. But I think after a fight, once the fight is over, and once the judges say, hey, I think this guy won, but I think we need to all take time after the fight and watch the fucking you know is that what you're trying to say? Like pretty much watch the highlights of the whole fight after the fight?
No, not watch the highlights. Just watch just use CompuBox. Use the numbers to
Yeah.
help you reinforce your point, reinforce your argument. We use math and statistics to get the facts right and, plausibility right in the scientific method, but we don't use that for our ability to judge fights. Why not?
Right. Yeah, and they're not about to stop the fight mid round and be like, okay, continue. Like they gotta, their heart rates are going. They're only supposed to get 30 minutes, 30-second breaks.
A
So
minute
there's
breaks.
a minute break. Yeah, so there's
That's
no
enough
time.
time.
Oh, to review the to review.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but that
For
gives the
example, if
fighter.
you knock me down, a knockdown only takes 1 second. Then it takes 10 seconds basically to beat the count to stand up. You can't think you can't
I
watch a
that's
replay to get back up and tally that up and score and rectify a mistake that you made.
But I think 30 seconds more in the interval, like in between the rounds, like you're changing the whole game now because heart rates get like they're recovering a lot faster now. So it's like you want to be able to not say that, like have no excuses if you lost. Like, hey, this guy was able to fucking recover 1 minute in between the rounds. Like this was a really abnormal fight for me.
I
It
know,
just
but
wouldn't
we're
be.
talking about correcting. a mistake of a knockdown, not whether or not
Oh, got
you
you,
suck
got
that
you.
round.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why the fuck not? We do that in football.
Yeah.
Um.
We do
So
that in
yeah, not
football. We do that in basketball. There's instant replays, but boxing is
baseball.
the only one. And the only reason I bring this topic up, or you mentioned it, is Mauricio Suleiman came out recently and said for this undisputed matchup between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, right? He wants to incorporate instant replay throughout the whole fight.
With who?
Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Mauricio Suleiman says that he wants instant replay for this fight. And I'm saying it shouldn't be. I mean, you haven't been using it for the rest of your fights. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
is this? Why do you have to make this a headline? Why is
Right.
this even news? This should have really been incorporated years ago. Why all of
Yeah.
a sudden now? Why now?
Yeah. Like I think they gotta. That's not fair, man. I think they can't just be changing the game up for Tyson Fury. Um. They gotta. They're just trying to cross their T's, but it's like, bro, like you do that like kind of for the rest. Keep that same energy for everyone else. You know. That's like some what I'm trying to say, like some some prioritizing shit, like selective choosing type of shit. Like come on, man.
Because this is what he
Um
says. Mauricio Suleiman states boxing must utilize video technology to prevent controversial incidents. As the
and that's AI.
WBC president claims organizers are working hard to have instant replays for Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk.
You never
Suleiman, this
know.
is not new. Again, this is what I'm trying to say. Boxing is so far behind, and their failure to understand of being a copycat, right? Like, bro, if there's a sport like football that's using certain things, you should be doing it too. Boxing, if football, American football in the Super Bowl, if they're hosting Toy Story like animation, football, you know, effects, Toy Story effects, if they're hosting Patrick, Sally, and SpongeBob and Squidward, and they're as the commentators on the Nickelodeon channel, right? Why is instant replay barely coming up? Why don't you have, and I don't know, a coding system where it's, Canelo is Mortal Kombat, he's Scorpion, Bivol is Sub-Zero, and these dudes are duking it out, I don't know, on Spike TV. What I'm trying to say is you should already be past this. This is not something new. Oh, it must implement video replay technology.
It's a bunch
They
of
should be
bullshit.
doing that.
Yeah.
Like the people at home get to see instant replay. If the people at home, if the commentators within that minute of the transition, when the coaches are talking and drilling their fighter for instruction, that
Mm.
should be already implemented. We get instant replay, but the
Mm.
judges don't. The
Mm.
judges should be the first ones to get instant replays and be like, look, avert your eyes. That was not a KO. Don't score it a 10-8.
Yeah, man.
All of a
Yeah, man.
sudden Suleiman wants to be like, oh man, the harbinger of good hope, the mediator of the failure of robberies and controversy. Is like, bro, F you, dude. F you. That's all I
Mm.
gotta say. But on that note, man, I gotta wrap it up here at work.
All right.
Speed goes, boxing is traditional and change is not desired.
He was not trolling. He was not trolling.
Obviously trolling. Yeah, I know, man. It's
Nah, he's being serious.
I mean,
Nah.
I just feel like this. Those videos where people use instant replay in, YouTube videos. For example, there's a video where Canelo throws his best four over the top and hits Triple G. And, it's like 10 seconds and it has like 10 million views, right?
Mm.
People have been using this. Boxing judges are the only ones that don't have access to instant replay. Boxing judges, which are only 3 people, don't have access to CompuBox. Everybody sees the stats at home. Everybody sees Steve Farhood's other points of views. These judges are not even to talk to one another, so they don't have influence and crossover decision making. But bro, how fucking stupid is that? What I mean by that is this. You and me, you're suing me, Drew. I am the defendant. You're the one that's prosecuting me, right? You have certain facts that you think you're trying to pull me away because I stole $500,000 from you. 12 people, the jury. You present your case, I defend myself, and 12 people go into a jury room, right? And they discuss their facts and their reasoning. All of a sudden, 3 fucking judges are supposed to be sequestered, isolated from one another, not talk about the fight to come to a consensus. Right? Oh, it's because my perspective is different from your perspective. And I value the traditional fighter of come forward rather than the slick fighter that's maybe defensive and not getting hit and swimming without getting wet. Why can't? So the jury can. That's more important than scoring a fucking fight. They come to a consensus. They talk it out. They share notes. They share perspective. And there's obviously one that's louder and influences the other. There's the one that tallies up the votes. But these 3 judges can't do that. It's the most ridiculous thing that the sport of boxing has ever done. The most ridiculous thing. And then check this out. The best judge and the most critical judge that can take the power from these 3 judges and is not even asked for his decision making is the referee. In fact, he doesn't even have to give you an explanation of why he stopped the fight, why he deducted a point, his failure to, punish a fighter from excessive headbutts or low blows. He can literally stop the fight. And if you've been scoring 11 rounds and if he decides to fuck up the fight in the 12th round, he can eradicate all process of thinking just because he had a fucking dumb moment.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
man.
as much as I hate this sport or love this sport, I should say, it's very illegitimate. Everything about this sport of boxing is backwards, bro. And it disgusts me, bro. It's like, when you have diarrhea and you take a fat ass shit, it first starts with a fart and then it goes. That's boxing, bro, at its purest form. That reminds me of Rolly Romero, bro. His fucking stupid face. Nah, just checking, guys. Nah, on that
Oh
note.
my god.
No. Hey, on that note, guys. Look, man, if you guys want to keep talking, you guys can hop on and do your thing. I gotta wrap it up
right.
and just clean up a little bit. But Drew, as always, bro, thank you for tuning in. Warp Speed, thank you for tuning in as well. El Pachuco, the Mexican G, all of these dudes that found this. Stood the test of time and watch the ending. Hopefully you're able to learn some stuff. Maybe I'll try to juxtapose it and cut it into like 30-minute intervals or something because this is pretty fun. But on that note, man, happy Sunday, guys. And Drew, if you want to go out drinking, bro, and play some pool, let me know, bro. Speed, Drew, as always, man. Thank you guys for hopping on. And hasta la vista.
Peace.
You're supposed to say, bebe. Later, guys.
Oh.